What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bilbrons and Dragons. I'm your host, Bilbron DaoLockStone. So today we're having another battle report for my Molebron DaoLockStone build, which I've been playing on a Westmarch server called the Forged Concordance. And I think it's really fantastic. It's really big with lots of games and well-run, organized with great DMs. So check it out. I put all of the relevant information in the video description below. You can join and we can adventure together. So today's adventure was called Tales from Eorzea, the Bowl of Embers. And it was run by DM Seahawk. And I think he did a fantastic job. It's a very combat-heavy world that he's built here. And I appreciate that. I enjoy the combat side of things as well. So I've actually had one session that was no combat and all role-playing so far. And at Seahawk's table, it's almost all combat and very little role-playing. Enough, but to keep it coherent as a story, but lots of combat. And this was actually my second time at Seahawk's table. The one session that I've had that I didn't make a video for was his first one. And the reason why was because the battles were so fast and furious, and I was getting so involved in, my tactics and what I was doing that I totally forgot to take pictures. And I decided just to not make a video about it because I was also quite dominant in that session. And so, I just didn't think it was all that interesting. But this session was really amazing. And Seahawk's really good with the combat. Like, he knows the rules backwards and forwards. And so it's just like crisp and, quick judgments and, always knew what the relevant rule was. So very impressed. And thanks, man. Good game. So the story starts with Bilbron riding in from Viscala, stopping in at Haroon to visit Novus Dayshout for a little bit, and then on to the TSC HQ to try and find a gig. And man, it wasn't easy. The job board is plastered over with bronze, iron, and steel missions, and the really tough missions for stone cold killers like Bilbron are pretty hard to come by. And how I got this game was actually hilarious because I didn't even know that it was up because it was a silver game. I'm only copper, so silver's punching up for me, and I didn't get pinged. And then I saw the game with like 10 minutes before teams were about to be picked, and there were already like 9 teams up for it. It's like, oh man, there's no way on earth I'm going to get a game or a team together in just 10 minutes, so I guess I'm going to miss out on this game. But then just as I was looking at it, Seahawk was like, screw it, I'm going to pick like 10 minutes early. And then he picked a team. And then I noticed the team didn't have a wait list. And so I just pinged him saying, hey, I'll be your wait list guy, because the game was starting in like 30 minutes. And right away, the guy was like, oh, can you replace me? It's like, yeah. So I completely just fell into this game. And that's awesome because it's really hard to get games once you get to, level 7 and above. So I was able to get on a team with Rain, who was a Tabaxi Death Monk, Caliestro, who was a half-elf Sorlock with an Imp Familiar, so Pact of the Chain, and Luquic, who was a Sea Elf Spores Druid and Divine Soul Sorcerer. And so they were all silvers, and I was just a lowly copper. And so they were a little hesitant to add me to the team, but, they didn't really have much choice because the clock was against them and I got tabbed. And plus I felt like, I would be able to contribute. So we assembled and walked very short distance to the rum cart at the near the job board because the gig was for Tales of Eorzea. And so this is a very interesting dynamic where we went to a storyteller who had set up a wagon literally right there. So we had to walk just like a few steps. And we got comfortable, and he pulled out this mystical book and started telling us a tale of Eorzea, which is this mystical land in maybe even in the past or in the future, I don't know. And it was a land that was being beset by incursions from elemental primals who were being summoned through some sort of crystals for some probably nefarious, big picture plan from some bad guy. But currently all we know is that these elemental primals have been, attacking And they have this crazy like life drain thing. So even just like being in the vicinity means they're just going to suck all the life away from the people, the animals, the plants. And so, yeah, they need to be put down. And they were being opposed by a group of heroes called the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. And so as he's telling us this story, our psyches start to like drift out of our bodies and start flying through time and space. And so we're like zooming in, and then we come in to like this bird's eye view of a scene where we see some kobolds with some funky red crystals that are pulsing with magical power. And our bodies kind of descend into these adventurers that are rolling up, and we take over their bodies and become the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. And we get there just in time to see the kobolds basically finishing the ritual, and they summon a primal, an elemental primal of fire called Ifrit. And we found out later as we asked the kobolds why they were doing this, but they were being attacked by this giant snake or something that lived in a cave right here, because we were like in the desert and there was like some cliffs around with a cave in it. And so this guy had given them these crystals for free, saying, yeah, use these and it'll summon something that's going to solve your problem. And these dumb kobolds bought it, and they summoned this Ifrit guy. And yeah, sure enough, the giant snake rushed out of the cave, and it literally died in one round to Ifrit and the team because we helped. But then Ifrit like dashed into the cave, and we took a few minutes to like talk to the kobolds and figure out what was up. And then we figured that we should probably follow the dude into the cave because he was probably up to some, shenanigans. And so we kind of fast forwarded through some typical dungeoneering and what have you, and finally we're able to confront Ifrit in his lair, which was in this giant cave filled with magma and lava, and he was in the middle of this giant steel disc, about 120 feet across, that was suspended by these giant steel chains from the ceiling, and it was over this giant pit of lava. And so, we confronted him, and we attacked him, and we managed to beat him without too much difficulty. He had a couple of interesting lair actions, like these illusions would appear, and then like sweep across the disc, and anyone in their path took damage. But we were able to defeat him fairly easily. But then he kind of disappeared at the end in a way that made us think that he might not be dead. And then energy started coalescing at the center of the disc. And we were like, uh-oh, what's going on here? And we just had enough time to kind of position ourselves and like cast a spell. And then this giant flaming eyeball appeared, a lot like Sauron from Lord of the Rings. And it was like supported by some magma mephits, and then a couple of little dragon things that breathed fire. I don't know what they were. But that battle was really hard. This eye thing was kind of like a baby beholder. Not as dangerous as a regular beholder, but you get it. It had this anti-magic cone, which it immediately used to take my summon and my familiar Fargar off the table. And they spent most of the battle suppressed by this anti-magic cone that it had shot out. And it was just blasting us with all of these eye beams that could do a ton of damage, or charm you, or fear you, or paralyze you, or pick you up telekinetically and then drop you into the lava, which is pretty amazing because lava does 10d10 per round. And that happened to Lukewick, but luckily he had cast Fire Shield beforehand and then was able to cast Gaseous Form to fly back up. And so, he didn't die from that. But man, very tough battle. But Bilbron was pretty dominant in that battle because he, as usual, was able to use the environment to achieve a superior position. And man, I'm finding that positioning is like the most important thing in terms of surviving and winning battles. And so because of his fly speed, he was able to kind of go off the edge of the disc, and on the side of it where no one could see, he cast a minor illusion and was able to fly in and out of it. So had great positioning throughout that entire battle. And, we were able to win. It was a tough battle though, man. That thing had a bunch of hit points, and magma mephits are pretty impressive because they can cast heat metal, and these dragon things were breathing fire. And so, we won that battle by the skin of our teeth. And then that wasn't it. There was more. More energy started coalescing. And we were all like, oh my, like, do we really need to fight another boss? Because we had like exhausted all of our spell slots, and most of the other guys were at like 5 or 10 hit points or something. But fortunately at this point, it seems like the Scions of the Seventh Dawn had divine protection, because their goddess came in and gave us an uplifting message telepathically and mystically granted us an instant short rest. So hit points back up, slots back, and we were able to engage Ifrit, who appeared once again, but this time was way more powerful than the first time. So it was this one dude and all of us piling onto him, and we bravely engaged. But man, this thing was strong. Bilbron was unloading. It was like, summon, okay, summon destroyed, another summon, okay, summon destroyed, okay, Fargar destroyed. And it was just doing massive damage. My summon got hit for like 82 in one attack sequence at one point, which was pretty impressive. And yeah, we were whittling him down, but first Luquick got killed, and then Caliestro got killed, and then this thing uttered a divine word and like instantly killed Fargar, and then stunned Rain for like an hour with no end of turn save or anything. So pretty much dead. But Bilbron had taken a great position again and was just chucking eldritch spears at him the whole time. And so we were whittling him down, and right before he was about to finish off Rain, Bilbron got the killing blow in. And yeah, we managed to survive that encounter. It was pretty tough. Like I said, just bang, bang, bang. Tons of combats after each other. I was really worried in that last battle, and then that short rest came in, and I was like, oh, thank God, at least we got a chance. And yeah, Ifrit was really impressive, the final version of him. And so it was a really cool battle. I mean, I always love to see cool new abilities and stuff. And I would have normally been concerned when half my team dies and I'm the last man standing again. But this was a tale from Eorzea. I had done it before. I knew what to expect, and I knew we weren't really dead. And yeah, as soon as we won, our psyches lifted out of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn and flew through time and space. And next thing you know, we're back in our real bodies. And it was hilarious because Rain had actually done a Tales of Eorzea before and knew, this whole storytelling mechanic. But the other two guys who died didn't. And so they were shocked to not be dead. And so happy, of course, because one guy was like, oh man, I was literally, working on my next character. I can't believe I'm not dead. And so, yeah, we got paid. I got badges. I got 3 badges for punching up and actually made 8th level. So very exciting. I'll be doing a video here soon talking about my new tactical approach and stats and stuff as an 8th level character. And so, yeah, that was it. Thanks so much to DM Seahawk for providing me that wicked fun experience. Thanks so much to the team for helping me get through it. And thank you so much for watching. This has been Bilbrons and Dragons. I'm your host, Bilbron DaoLockStone. See you next time.